I've got the keys to this Corvette ZR1, so let's take it for a drive and have a nice chat about my thoughts on this absolutely insane 1,000 horsepower American supercar from the perspective of a current C8 generation Corvette Z06 owner. Do I have any regrets buying my Z06? Any buyer's remorse? Hopefully not, but it's hard when you have the keys to this absolutely absurd machine. Take a look at that rear wing. It's got the full carbon aero, Sebring orange. Let's start it up. Oh, that's good. Very familiar sound to my Z06, but this thing is dialed up to 12 in every single metric. Oh, all right, let's hop in and go for a drive. A little bit of careful maneuvering to get myself out of this turnout. Currently in the Southern California, LA area. Chevy gave me the keys to the ZR1 for a couple days, and I said, of course, yes. Well, actually, I asked if I could have the ZR1 for a couple days, because having driven this once before, got to drive it during Monterey Car Week, August of last year, but that was a shorter stint. Had a couple hours with it, heading down Highway 1 to Big Sur in it. Absolutely blew my mind, and I wanted to spend some more time living with the ZR1 to really see what it's like. Now, for context, if you don't know, I own a 2023 Corvette Z06. I went for a ride along and two engineering pre-production cars, development cars, just passenger seat, and I was immediately hooked. That flat plane crank LT6 sounded intoxicating, and all the ingredients of the Z06, what it was delivering, was like, yep, I'm a buyer, I want one. So I managed to get myself an allocation. I've had that car since new. It was one of the earliest Z06 builds, and I absolutely love that car. 670 horsepower, NA V8, revving to over 8,000 RPM. It has the looks, it has the performance, it has the tech creature comforts. I sold my R8 V10 RWS and kept the Z06 instead because they were actually similar formulas, both mid-engine, rear-wheel drive, naturally aspirated, dual-clutch transmission, two-seaters. So I was like, yeah, I like the Z06 more in every way. But then the ZR1 came out, as was inevitable, right? It was not a secret that they were going to do a ZR1. There's always been a higher tier model. And when it came out, it kind of blew everybody's mind in terms of how much power it was offering. Let's try a super quick launch control. That, of course, is addicting. What are you doing, bird? Get out of the road! Is that a bird that doesn't know how to fly? Anyways. Let's go into my Z mode and have a bit of fun. As you can expect, the ZR1 is so insanely fast. It is such a step up in performance compared to the Z06. But the thing is, at no point driving my Z06 have I been like, you know, this thing feels underpowered. I need an extra 400 horsepower. But when you have it, it's a little bit addicting. One of the biggest takeaways I had when I first drove the ZR1 was how civilized it was. It was actually usable. Oftentimes when you have this kind of power going to just the rear wheels, the car is an unhinged maniac. I think of things like the McLaren P1, Ferrari Pista, McLaren 765 LT. If you're not careful, those cars, they want to kill you. They want to just spin out. They are absolutely unhinged. Whereas this one, yes, it is ballistically, mind-bendingly fast, but it's surprisingly approachable, confident, and you can go fast very, very quickly, obviously. A lot of credit to the engineers with the traction management. Boost by gear, you're not getting full boost, full power in first gear. It's just, you just can't. It would just blow the tires off, right? Traction control is managing the power so you can get on it without fear. Now, I haven't toggled this up into like full traction off, stability off, because again, 1,000 horsepower rear wheel drive supercar that's not mine on roads that aren't a racetrack. So yeah, you have to be careful. You have to respect this thing. But even PTM up to, I think went to PTM dry, it's good. It's so good, and it's so addictingly fun. Oh, and I love the turbo noises too. So it's really interesting where it takes the personality of the Z06, the things I love about the Z06, and just cranks it up so much. I'm very familiar with this platform, having driven every variant of the C8 except, oh, I guess I haven't driven the ZR1X. There was a step above this one, and the new Grand Sports I haven't driven quite yet. But the LT7 is an LT6 with a rocket shoved up its rear. And it's not just although it's not just an LT6 with twin turbos strapped to it. That might be what a lot of people think. They call these like the Gemini twins. They developed the engines together. So from the initial development, they knew they were gonna do this twin turbo version. So the LT6 and LT7 are both flat plane crank V8s, but there's a lot of component differences. Obviously, this one is heavily strengthened in order to handle the substantial increase in power and torque. It's kind of ridiculous, the increase in power and torque. 1,064 horsepower and 828 pound-feet of torque. When the Z06 was at 670 horsepower, that is a bigger step up than I think anybody expected. I was thinking, 800s, that sounds about right. From the C7 ZR1, you were at 755 horsepower, right? The Z06 was like 650. Now with the C8, you're okay, 670, but it's NA, flat plane crank, very different personality. So all right, fine. Step this up to 800. Like McLaren, they do the 720S, the 765LT, the 750S. They don't do the 750S and then the 1000 LT, and that's essentially the analogy of what Corvette did. They stepped from 670 horsepower to 1,064. Which is absolutely ballistic. It is ridiculous that they let the engineers go wild and do this. This thing has the largest turbos ever fitted on a production car. They're 76 millimeters. I think the peak boost is 26 PSI. It's crazy. The stats are ridiculous. At full throttle, the exhaust produces 37 pounds of thrust. Measurable thrust. Like a rocket. Yes. It's rowdy though. Oh yes. It's so good. And it sounds good too. Not quite as loud and piercing as the Z06, just because of turbos, but you get that layer of boost noises. You hear that whistling, whooshing of a boost. And it adds this extra layer that is so cool. Honestly, the only thing that's like reasonably I could complain about the ZR1, okay, fine, there's a couple. All right. First of all, it's not as practical as a regular Z06 because you lose the front trunk. There's that pass-through aero vent cooling thing. So the front trunk is completely gone. You can still open it, but it's just, there's like a radiator there and there's passages for airflow. It looks so cool and aggressive with that opening. And it's functional, kind of like a Ferrari Pista, the S-duct, right? Channeling air through there. So you lose the front trunk and all you have left is the rear trunk, which gets really hot because the engine's back there. And you kind of have to put stuff there. I have my backpack in the passenger seat now because it gets so hot in the engine compartment. I almost never use the rear trunk in my Z06 just because it gets way too toasty, right? Imagine putting a tub of ice cream back there. You'd come back to just milk. It would melt. So, okay, practicality, but like, who's buying a ZR1 for their practical daily driver? I mean, I would. But like, yeah, I like to drive the Z06 when I can. I'm taking it on a couple road trips, right? So that is a consideration. As you can tell, I'm kind of like nitpicking. This is a complaint for all the Z06 and this thing. I filled it up to a full tank and it shows 211 miles to empty. It's just because the fuel tank isn't big enough. I'm not complaining about the MPGs. You expect it in a car like this, right? Let's see, what am I getting? Let's go to trip here on the left screen. 10.2 miles per gallon over 164.6 miles, right? So I'm not complaining about that. When you buy a ZR1, you're not allowed to complain about how much gas costs, but it's the inconvenience of having to go to the gas station a bunch. So if the fuel tank was 30 gallons, like a Porsche extended range fuel tank on like a GT3, it just makes it more convenient because you fill up and you go a little bit farther. And yes, that might sound like I'm nitpicking, but it's just like a ease of life kind of thing. I'm down to 141 miles already. I'm gonna probably have to fill up again later today. It's kind of ridiculous. Oh no, I found myself back on PCH. I don't want to go down PCH. I will find somewhere to flip a U-turn and go up the mountains again. This is actually better than my Z06 in every single way. This also has the new interior, which I've actually grown to really, really like. spending time with it this week. It's a bit more friendly from an ergonomic standpoint. No more Great Wall of Corvette buttons, but new infotainment screen. The climate toggles are very easy to use. You got this fixed heated seats, cooled seats, like AC kind of stuff right there. And then the little screen on the left, toggling through PTM on the left. Your launch control stuff and your drive modes toggle is so much easier. I'm in Z mode right now. I have it set up the way I like it, but if I want to toggle down track, it's just easier than a little spinny dial. So like initially I was like, not a big deal with the new interior. I still like mine. The Great Wall of Corvette buttons bring some personality, but now after spending a bit of time with this one, I think I like the new interior more. Do I have buyer's remorse with my Z06? I want to say no, because I have owned and enjoyed my Z06 for many years now, and I still love that car. It's the first car I have ever ordered brand new of that magnitude, customized. I ordered it how I wanted, right? Z07, carbon arrow, rapid blue over the two-tone blue interior. I did museum delivery. It's brand new to me. I got the whole experience. I went to the Ron Fellows Performance Driving School, the owner's track school. I got to experience buying that thing brand new, and it was like one of the earliest cars built. Mine, this is a very Corvette owner thing to talk about, but mine is VIN number 38, right? So it's just a cool thing. It's a cool thing that got to the level of being able to get a car like the Z06 brand new, and in reality, in all situations, that thing is more than enough. More than enough. And most of the time on the road, unless you're toggling through PTM, it's cutting power because of traction control. First and second gear, you can't use it. It sounds spectacular. It revs out. It's the more pure choice. And also, we have to talk about price. My Z06 was $151,000 optioned up from when new. I could have gone a little higher, could have added carbon wheels, I could have done some other stuff. I could have done a hardtop convertible, but I wanted the coupe because I wanted to see the engine back there with the mid-engine. And of course, they depreciate. Corvette Z06s can be had now for under MSRP if you find one, used one. So if I were to, technically you don't lose the money until you go to sell it, right? So if I don't sell it, it doesn't really matter. And that was kind of the plan. Paid it off. Warranty has been extended to like 7 years. And when I bought it new, because I kept it for at least 6 months, I got 500,000 GM loyalty points, which is very nice because I've used that for service, for purchasing my extended warranty, for the transmission service I just did, which was like $1,200. And all of that was free thanks to General Motors for the points because I kept the car, right? Because everybody was like flipping them early on. So that was the carrot was, here, you can have 500,000 points. The stick was, if you sell it, you're not gonna get one of these cars ever again. No allocation for you for any specialty cool GM vehicle, and the car would lose warranty. And now ZR1s, of course, are quite a bit more expensive. Base price has climbed, I believe for now, latest model year, a base 1LZ ZR1 is going to be 185-ish. If you go up to 3LZ and then you start adding carbon arrow, if you can get yourself ZTK, things like that, right? Your price is gonna start climbing to $250,000, assuming MSRP. But the ZR1 is no longer the top dog. We have the ZR1X coming, which is going to be another level of, well, it's already here, never mind, not coming. I just haven't driven it quite yet. That's another level of insanity because it adds the hybrid front motor. So this is no longer the top dog model, which it used to be. ZR1 used to be king of the hill, final iteration, and then on to the next generation. But now it's hybridized with the ZR1X. I have no idea what long-term values are gonna do. Right now, ZR1Xs are substantially more money than a ZR1, both from a MSRP standpoint, but also market demand. They're just more rare, and the sheer numbers that a ZR1X can put up is staggering. Having that electric motor up front, it's just more grip, more power, everything. Absolute insanity. So Z06 values I expect they'll probably drop a little bit more and probably, hopefully, stabilize at some point. right? I don't expect them to be $60,000 cars quite yet. Eventually they will get to that level. Look at C7 Z06s, right? Like, it'll follow the natural order. They're building them as a production Corvette. It's not meant to be ultra limited anyway. ZR1 should be an increment value up, and then ZR1Xs I think will still stay higher up, even though hybrid, just because of the rarity factor and it being the top version. But that was a very, very long-winded circular discussion value regarding if I were to want to go from my Z06 to a ZR1, which, full disclosure, full transparency, I have been seriously contemplating. And the ridiculous, irresponsible, stupid thing I've been contemplating is keeping the Z06 and buying a ZR1, which I know is so hilariously redundant. It doesn't really, like, make any rational sense whatsoever. But, like, I have such an attachment to the Z06, and I just really, really love that car. It's so special to me for the reasons I've outlined. But the ZR1 is just insanity on two wheels, or in four wheels. But it would be an extra at least $100,000 between the price delta of what I would get for the Z06 and then pay for the ZR1 and then pay sales tax, registration, PPF, and whatever else, right? So all of a sudden it's way more money. And like, yeah, it'd be so financially irresponsible to keep the Z06 and add the ZR1. But I'm telling you, I've been thinking about it. I don't know. Ultimately, I came into my time with this ZR1 without buyer's remorse, because I was like, I don't need the extra power. The Z06 is fantastic. Love that car. But this ZR1, it looks so much more aggressive. The bigger wing, oh my God, the wing is absurd in person. And I really love the vented hood. The front splitter and the canards are actually exactly the same as in a Z06. It's just this gigantic wing, and it looks really good, and it's so fast. It is so effortlessly fast. You feel the torque. You really, really feel the torque. I mean, the Z06 is 460 pound-feet of torque. If you're not revving it, if you're not like above 6,000 RPM, it doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. You have to get high up in that rev range. That's something I personally have loved, right? I love high revving NA engines. Had my Shelby 350R with the Voodoo flat plane crank V8, the R8 V10s with the naturally aspirated V10. I love Porsche GT3s with their flat six. Ferraris with their NA V8s. 458 has always been a dream car, which was replaced by the Z06, and I was like, oh, I would love an F12. Naturally aspirated Italian V12. This is a total different beast, because it's like 800 pound-feet of torque at like 3,000 RPM. So, yeah. But it still preserves enough of the Z06 engine like sound, excitement. It has a lot of the similar characteristics. It just revs just a little bit less, and with 1,000 horsepower, I don't think anybody can be like, oh, 8,000 RPM instead of 8,500. That's not enough. The ZR1 also is set up to be slightly softer when you're in the softest mode than a Z06. If I recall correctly, they were talking about how Z06 is supposed to be the most hard edge, track focused one, right? Whereas the ZR1 is theoretically more of like a GT day-to-day use car, which I think is very ironic given the fact that it loses the front trunk practicality, right? But the gist of it is the front dampers, all the dampers can be a little bit softer. Oh my God. So using it as just my day-to-day car here in LA over the last couple days, it has actually been very, very comfortable. That's the beauty of magnetic ride too. You can turn it up if you want, you can soften it a bit. My Z mode, I have it set to the softest setting because we're on canyon roads and they're bumpy. They're not ideal racetrack smooth, and I want a little bit more compliance. But then you throw this thing into tour mode, it quiets down, and you just cruise along, all while still getting probably like 15 miles per gallon. Oh, I brought my average MPG down to 9.7. Good job. He said something like 80 to 200 to 80 was 24.5 seconds? right? I think that's the number. It's like a stat that nobody has actually tested, but if you think about it, right? You're cruising at 80 miles an hour around freeway speed, and you go, I've got some space, I'm gonna punch it. You're up to 200 and you can slow yourself back down to 80 within 30 seconds. That's crazy. That's like, here I would be having most likely just as much fun in my Z06. Is it like noticeably, tangibly that much faster? In the right hands, absolutely. The ZR1 has just been demolishing track records. Ooh, that's a little bit steep. We'll go nice and slow. Don't want to scrape the front end. That was an R34. Woohoo! And also traction was like, no. The ZR1 went around wrecking just track records, Road America, VIR, just taking crowns everywhere. Ah, there's a C6 behind me. Hello, Corvette buddy. And then the ZR1X came one tier up. I mean, it's just a good time to be a car enthusiast and a lover of American performance cars, because look at our choices. Z06 is so good. I mean, honestly, a base Stingray Z51 is good. And then Z06, E-Ray, now Grand Sport X. Stingray's getting the LS6 from the Grand Sport, and then you have ZR1, ZR1X, and then if you're a fan of Fords, you have the Mustang GTD. Like, our choices are fantastic right now, as long as you have money, because none of these are cheap. I figured I had the keys to this thing up here in the mountains on some spectacular roads. I would just strap a camera to my head, take you guys along for a drive, and just have a very casual chat about my thoughts on the ZR1. Again, from the perspective of a Z06 owner, and do I regret buying the Z06? No. I still absolutely love that car, and I do want to keep it forever. That's what I tell myself. And I know, I have had friends tell me, everybody says, keep the car forever. I said that about my Shelby 350R. Now I regret selling it. We all say we're going to keep this car forever, but then the next shiny thing shows up, and you're like, oh, shiny. And that's what this thing is right now. And my time with this ZR1 has already started to show some cracks in my resolution to say Z06 forever. I don't need it. I genuinely don't need one. And so therefore my next rational step was, well, I want to keep the Z06 forever, so I'll buy both. And then all of a sudden I don't have a 401k anymore and I've got no money left, right? And my wife is like, why can't we eat anything? Why is it only ramen in the kitchen now, honey? And I'd be like, oh, but look, ZR1 and Z06. Those are my thoughts about the ZR1. As you can tell, I love this car. And how could you not? How could you not? Now, my next step is I'm very curious to try the ZR1X. Friends who have driven it said, obviously it's the next step faster. Like, the way it launches is unreal. It's as fast as the fastest EVs out there, as fast as pretty much anything that has an engine in it, and it's just like mind-scrambling fast. I've been very lucky to drive many cars, not many, several cars, well over 1,000 horsepower, twin-turbo R8s, upgraded GTRs making 1,400 horsepower. This car, I mean, I've been so lucky to be handed the keys to a Koenigsegg, Bugatti, stuff like that, right? So, like, yes, these cars are fast, but the fact that the ZR1 and ZR1X democratizes to a price point that only is 6 digits, not 7 digits. A lot of those cars, I mean, hypercars, you're millions of dollars, and that's not the realm of most wealthy people. That's the ultra wealthy. If you're just moderately wealthy, you can ostensibly get yourself a ZR1 or a ZR1X. So I'm very curious to try the ZR1X. Has the ZR1 ruined my Z06? A little bit. I'm gonna have to give it a good window of time before I drive my Z06 again, before I hop in and go full throttle and be like, wait, is it broken? Why am I not going anywhere, right? But ultimately, I can't say I have any regret because I knew they were going to do a ZR1, right? I didn't expect it to be quite this ridiculous and ballistic, but we knew it was gonna be Stingray, Z06, ZR1, Grand Sport, right? Well, they did the E-Ray in between. There was kind of a new offshoot, but now Grand Sport X, and ZR1X got added. So the Corvette family has been growing for the 8th generation since it went mid-engine. So I wasn't surprised when the ZR1 came out, right? I went in buying the Z06 and thinking, like, this is perfect. It has everything I want, everything I need. Sounds great, spectacular. Oh, but it's just when you're behind the wheel of this car, it's really hard to say I don't want one of these in my life. But there we go. Sun is setting. Had a fantastic productive day filming. And then I spent hours driving the ZR1 on some of my favorite roads out here. Up in the mountains, away from the LA traffic, beautiful scenery, perfect weather. And a masterpiece of American engineering. I've said it before with my Z06, I love you Corvette engineers. Ooh, rocks. That's why we're careful up here in the canyons. Lots of gravel and rocks. But I love you Corvette engineers. What a beast. Will there be a ZR1 in my future? Maybe. I'm not committing to anything. We'll need an allocation first too. And lots of money. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. More casual. I have no idea how long I've been talking for. That's probably like 20 minutes now at this point, at least. Check out my ZR1 Living With vlog. I did that. Some short form content with this thing. Check out some of my Z06 videos. You want to see some other parts of the ownership perspective of having that thing for a couple years now. Still a magnificent car. Highly recommend it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.